Creating a sketch with acrylic instead of oil. It is something new I am exploring and I love it because for abstract, this is the best thing to create the acrylic sketch than oil sketch. Oil sketch helps you to create realistic painting because in basic imprimatur sketch, you can create highlights and lowlights by erasing the actual oil paint from the canvas with the cloth or with anything you. Acrylic paint is really helpful in creating a good base and the layer between canvas and your paint in future that you do with gesso. Like with gesso you create a layer, right, to prevent the paint from getting absorbed into the canvas, and acrylic do the same thing. It create a strong layer between canvas and your and the paint you are going to do in future with you're going to paint with oils, you are going to apply markers, you're going to apply pastel, anything. The acrylic paint will get you a safe spot and your paint will stay over the canvas, not go inside the canvas. Like it's a strong layer. This is the point to be noted. And after that, the second point is that you have to be really good at creating a sketch with acrylic because you cannot erase it after that, and you will be creating a mark that you don't want in abstract. Like you will have to paint over and over later, but for right now you need a good base sketch and you don't want excessive marking on the canvas where you don't know what is happening. Like for the sketch, for your 2D 3D perspective, you have to have good clear lines to start your paint. You don't want some buildings to be small, some buildings to be big, and creating a mess with painting over and over. For the sketch, it does not have to be like that. You need to have a clear vision before starting painting. So with acrylic, if you're not good at making exact marks, please don't try it, and keep practicing with oil paints rather. Now here I am applying thick black paint. You can apply it with the palette knife as I'm going to do now, to create a texture, to have a texture, thick texture. And why do I need the thick texture right now? To create deep lines into the texture. Like I'm creating deep lines, which I did because to trace my lines behind the texture, because I have created a sketch, right? And I want it over my thick texture, so I will create those lines through deep markings of with my palette knife. And you can really dug deep into it with your with the point of your palette knife, and don't just scratch the canvas too much, as there is a it can really tear your canvas. So after applying those lines, it gets easier to apply the paint to color block. Like you can see where you have to place your specific color bit by bit after you are done with your basic sketch. You see, it gets easier for you to add detailings on the rightly painted sketch rather than painting and making it right along. You have to create a strong sketch and learn to draw a good sketch before starting painting, because it really saves you a hell lot of amount of time that is wasted by keep correcting the mistakes you have done on the canvas and with the paint, and you waste a lot of paint doing that, and you save a lot of time. So here now I am creating the cars, the building floors, the windows, and also adding light along highlights and lowlights. Yes, it is easier with the oil paint at start to create highlight and lowlight, but with the abstract, with the texture paint, you are more determined to add texture also the lines, the deep lines that create sensory stimulation. I love to touch the impasto textured painting. I love the look of it, the depth of it. I am not liking the flat paint nowadays. Yes, I get really amused with the realism sometimes, but still, the texture paint and the impasto paint is quite fascinating for me nowadays. And if you want to do that type of painting, so you can use this style and paint like this and learn through what I am doing here. Now keep watching carefully how I am adding detail for further instruction, and the more closely you will look the stroke I am putting on, the faster you will learn. And don't budge your eyes here and there, just keep your focus on my brush, how am I laying the paint on the canvas without making other mistakes. Yes, I have made so many mistakes in between, I have fixed it, but at least my structure, my big shapes were there. You can add as many things as you want over the sketch, over your color block, but for the main sketch it has to be there. Your lines, your perspective should be perfect. Now here I'm adding lights, rickshaw here and there, and how I'm creating the reflection. Just keep looking at it and you will learn in instant, because observing is the power, is something with which you can learn rather than anybody actually holding your hands and making you create something. Nobody do that. I also learned through observation, observing the tutorials on YouTube, the closely observing it and watching it again and again. So keep watching it again and again until you really get the idea of what is happening here. Now keep watching and do not forget to enjoy it while watching, because it's really a therapy.